Okay, so apparently the Saintontas situation is crazy now. Braxophone, he's very, ooh. Bro needs more sleep. Right? So let's just see what's up.
So back in year 1 or 2 of Genshin Impact, when that game first released, the content creation scene was very competitive. Honestly, it still is really competitive. And just for gacha games in general, gacha games are free to play games that you can make content on for free. So anyone can make videos on gacha games. It's one of the most competitive spaces in the entire internet. And in years 1 and 2 of Genshin, everyone was like a shark. When they smelled blood in the water, they would instantly go to it and try to immediately feed off of whatever they possibly could in order to get the most clout and get the most money and become the most famous Genshin creator. This is a thing that a majority of creators did, and if they say they didn't, they're fucking lying to you. I only know one creator who was not trying to be the biggest creator they possibly could, and that was because they just happened to be really funny when they uploaded it. People watched, and then they...
It's me. Hey, what can I say, guys? It's me.
Quit YouTube because they weren't passionate about it. They just wanted to upload silly videos every now and then. Creators have this tendency to sort of try and take the moral high ground and virtue signal, and they try to do this in different ways. Every creator's different. But one of the more concerning ways that people will do it is that they will do this thing where they're like, you can only trust me, or I'm always right, and you can't trust these other people. Now, I don't know why this is a thing. I don't see it as much in other content spaces. When I'm watching YouTube from other gaming communities, I just don't see it. But like, maybe that's just a result of gacha being bigger than everything else, or maybe it's an anime game fan thing. But there's plenty of people that want you to only listen to them, and they are the only source of correct opinion and facts, and everyone else isn't. This happened in the Genshin community, and it happened to me. I know I'm beating a dead horse here because a lot of people have already heard this story from me, but back then there was a creator who would go and consume all of people's guide videos and other content on Genshin, and they would critique them. However, their criticism was not necessarily just criticism. A lot of it turned into ego, and a lot of it turned into, you actually can't trust this guy. It's not a, hey, this was slightly off from what I got. It's, I'm going to pull up the math and prove this person wrong, and I'm going to do it so many times that they don't watch this content anymore because this person is intentionally spreading misinformation, which is another thing. People have this hard on for the word misinformation. I think that's really stupid because
how it feels like to spread misinformation. How it feels like to spread hey, it is what it is, you know? Oh, that's crazy. What a great,
like, if you're watching a guide video and someone has like a build that does a lot of damage, and then you have a build that does like 1% or 2% better damage, they're not spreading misinformation, right? Maybe they were slightly wrong about the most optimal build under your criteria, but that doesn't make the build automatically wrong and misinfo, and you shouldn't trust them, right? It's such a stupid nitpick that is trying to gather a group of people to rally behind one person and become a part of their sort of like Twitch cult following. And I think that this was
boss, real quick. My MrPokke's weight in. I think 1 to 2% is chilling. It's like the whole. Do you guys remember way back in the days? Woba versus Smack. Smack ran with the wide blade build, quadruple HP, and then Woba is like, nope, crit damage body, win damage sphere. All right, that was the differential is honestly not that significant to the point where you would, you know, say, fuck this guy. All right, it's not that significant. It's probably like it wasn't even 1%. I think it was like because we didn't even have a lot of damage dealers, or rather damage buffers back then, right? We didn't even have Rame, we didn't even have Sparkle. So damage buff, it was quite significant. So I think you lose out around 10% or maybe even more damage with Blade. But the point that Stan was trying to make was he doesn't really care about the damage that much because it gives him a lot more durability, which is completely fair, right? So I think this is okay, right? There's a differences in build. Not to say one build is better. It's like if you want that if you want a white 10,000 HP blade, then you do you, right? So I do think that some misinformation is not a big deal. I think it's a pretty significant deal. So for example, if you're saying shit like you should be running 4-piece Marksmanship instead of 4-piece Quantum on Scylla, or if you should be running speed boots instead of attack boots on Scylla, I feel like that it impacts you by quite a bit. And to say, oh no, speed boots and attack boots doesn't change anything, me personally, I wouldn't let that slide. Like if I see any of my villagers run 4-piece Marksmanship, I ban them. If any of my villagers run speed boots on Scylla, I ban them, right? So it kind of depends on the gravity of the situation, but generally speaking, if there's one scenario where it's like it's strictly much better, like that build just strictly a lot better, I will always go for that, right? Wah!
Not exclusive to one creator, but I was one of the people that was nitpicked during that whole situation. I was one of the people whose content would be watched and then they would tear into my stuff, and then I would get tons of comments under my stuff from that person's audience, basically saying that like I couldn't be trusted, and honestly just kind of bullying me. They were just coming after me for shit. And it's like, me personally, I'm always a very constructive person. I would always like to learn. If I am wrong about something, I would like to know why, and I would like to know how to fix it going forward. That being said, I always try not to be wrong, right? I want to make sure that I have the most correct information and that I'm putting out good, coherent, and cohesive content for everyone. I don't like being wrong, and I don't like spreading misinformation, right? So if somebody's saying that I'm spreading misinformation, I want to know what they're talking about and not just have them immediately assume the worst in me.
I killed them.
So rather than make a big stink out of it, I went to this person and I DM'd them and I said, hey, honestly, I feel like you're being kind of mean about it. If you have problems with my stuff, could you bring it to me first? Because this is just making the community look at me in a negative light when I've never tried to be wrong. Like, I want to do good for the community. I genuinely always want to improve my content. I always want it to be better. And while I think that not every content creator cares about that, and I think that some people have the ego to say that their content's already like the best it can be and like it's better than everyone else's, I don't think that's everyone. I think there are other people who feel in the same boat, where if you approach them and you said, hey, I have a problem with this, and you did it like privately and not in public where it seems like you're trying to make a spectacle and get people on your side, they would probably agree to talk it out with you at the very least. Like, even if you don't come to the same conclusion, at least you can say that you tried to work it out with them, as opposed to rallying a bunch of people behind you, right? Because all that does is increase bullying in the community, which a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just get thicker skin. But like, how about we all aren't dickheads to each other? So anyways, I had talked it out with this creator.
Okay, this depends on like your POV. Alright, it depends on like your beliefs and all that. Like, for example, Tony's like, yo, don't be such a bitch. Why are people just so soft nowadays, you know? Oh my god, just so fucking sensitive, you know? Don't such a bitch. On the other hand, it's like, you could just not be that much of a dick. So there isn't really like a wrong right here. I feel like in Singapore, or at least like people that I know, people are a lot less confrontational. That they wouldn't go up to you. Like, you wouldn't see, or rather, like, if you're working like a corporate job in Singapore, right? It's very, very, very rare to see your colleagues like legit like shout at each other's face or like just publicly call them out. It's very, very rare. In Singapore, work culture is really like a lot of under the table office politics. If you can relate, you can relate. All right, I think I worked in Singapore corporate for like a good 2 years, like inclusive of internships and a full-time job. There's a lot of, it's not that people don't have conflicts, is that the way they solve conflicts is very, very subtle, right? They don't go into each other's face. It's really like, oh, do you hear this person's a bitch? Oh, that person's a bitch. Or like, you just like tell your friends, but it will never be direct. So I feel like this is, it depends on like your culture and like how it's like. But for me, I definitely wouldn't be like, go for yourself, right?
They would basically come to me if they had any issues with it, and they would try not to like watch it as much on their stream anymore. And I appreciated that. I really liked that they didn't go out of their way and they did try to help me. And if they did have issues with my stuff, they came to me and they're like, hey, so like, this is what I found. What do you think of this? And I think that's a really constructive way of doing it. Personally, I don't get the obsession with the misinformation thing, because like, as long as it's not going to financially affect somebody, right? Like, I'm talking about specifically like in a build guide or something. If somebody is farming an artifact set and they're going for slightly worse main stats or something, like, that's not going to brick someone's account. Like, yeah, that would be bad info, but it's not going to change that person's world, right? If it's like a polls,
this changes everything
video and you're just overselling the shit out of a character and you're lying about a character, then like, yeah, okay, I get it a little bit, right? Because that's financially affecting people, but it's a video game. It's pixels on a screen. If you're not spending money on it, I just don't think it is that deep. So fast forward to today, and I still see a lot of that sort of attitude very prevalent in the community. I think that there is a lot of this sort of like elitism that has transferred from creators to the community, where now the community feels like there are only certain people you can trust, and everyone else is lying to you, and you shouldn't.
I feel like this isn't the case, at least for Honkai Stario. I think I am most involved with Honkai Starbucks. I don't really see it. I think all the guide makers are super chill, that they're chilling. I don't think we've ever had like a guide maker war. The only guide maker war we had, like quote unquote war, was Guoba and Smack, and it was done in like 5 seconds. It was such a, and it wasn't even like a video war. It's like just Guoba leaving a comment. That was probably the only guide maker war I've seen. Other guide maker wars is mainly Wuthering waves. It really is. It's like, it was a Smack versus 10-10 for 4-3-3-1-1 versus 4-4-1-1, and then there's like a lot of, I think most guide maker wars are from Wawa, from at least from like my 1 year being a content creator, so it is what it is.
Watch videos of people that aren't the trusted creators, because those people are lying to you, they're spreading misinformation, and this narrative has now become the community's culture, if you will. So again, fast forward to today, I see this happen.
Okay, me and Dreamy is not guide maker war, right? Me and Dreamy is just they have a horrible personality. It has nothing to do with guides, so fuck you, Sarah. Bro is instigating for fun.
Happening in Wuthering waves, and I'm really concerned about it. By the way, I'm just a little side tangent. I love when games are new. I love when nobody knows anything about the games because you discover something, you put it out there on the internet, and nobody's shitting on you for it because everyone's trying to figure out the game. And that's the most fun part of a game, in my opinion, is when everyone is figuring stuff out together. I think that is like the best part of an entire game. So Wuthering Waves comes out. I put out some videos on things that I think I figured out. Some of those videos don't hold up nowadays, but you know, I felt like for the time they were decent. And I noticed immediately there were so many people from the Genshin community that came over to Wuthering Waves that are obsessed with misinformation. They are obsessed with that word. They want to throw it around everywhere as if everyone is intentionally misleading. By the way, the definition of misinformation is intentionally spreading incorrect information. It is not if you didn't know something and you said the wrong thing. That is not the same thing. That is disinformation. That is propaganda. Anyway,
Disinformation. Yo, chat, new word of the day. Disinformation. Hold up.
If you didn't know something and you said the wrong thing, that is not the same thing. That's disinformation. That is propaganda. Anyways, I noticed a lot of it happening in Wuthering Waves, so I decided that I wouldn't get super involved in the community. I do my videos. Like, I want to make my guide videos. I like playing Wuthering Waves. I think it's a fun game. But to be honest, I got pretty burnt out on the game. I wasn't playing it I wasn't playing it that consistently. I would get on the early access server that they had for us, so we could make sponsored videos specifically. And I would make those videos. I would double check everything before I even finished recording the script. I would write the script. I would check with multiple people that things are correct. I would check footage. I would check everything to make sure that it was as accurate as possible for the information that I had, which would always be fact checked. So even if I wasn't playing the game super consistently, even if I wasn't that good, even if my account was way under leveled and under invested in, I still know how to do the rotations for characters when I'm making the video. So I always get the right B-roll. I always say the right stuff or do my best to do all of those things in tandem, right?
Okay, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I still play the game a lot, even though I do have, like, you know, for Miho anyways, for like Zenless and Honkai. Okay, maybe not as long as Zenless, but I feel like even with Honkai Starbucks, we play the game quite a bit. But I feel like ever since the whole, I'm not sure if it's just me, but a lot of guide makers, specifically guide makers with the creator experience server, they probably play the game less. Because, like, why go all in on the public accounts or like your own accounts when you can, like, basically farm up whatever you need with a, like, quote-unquote free account. It's a free maxed out account. You get what I'm saying? Because you can get, like, you basically can infinite reroll for, like, the best in slot relics. You can do any sort of 0 cycle clears you want. E0, S1 0 cycles, whatever it is, team comp, whatever. You can get whatever you want done out of the C server. Which means that there's technically less incentive for you to still make content on your own accounts, if you think about it. Because why would I want to play on my own account where I still need to, like, spend money and I spend, you know, stamina, refreshing relics, or even get an executive account manager for my main account where I can just do everything on the creator experience server. You get what I'm saying? For Honkai, for Wuthering Waves, for, you know, all these kind of stuff, right? So,
and then after that, because I cover a ton of gacha games and I have, like, a lot of sponsors and things, I have to learn other games. I have to learn other characters. All the information that I stored for that video goes out the window because I'm not consistently playing the game. And that's something that I think a lot of people should be made aware of, is that honestly, like, even though I am putting the research into my guides, I can't be the master of all things. I try to know a lot about Honkai Star Rail, but I'm not a jack of all trades. I try to know as many things as I can, but it is impossible for any human being to know everything about everything and be 100% correct all the time. It's just not realistic.
Absolutely.
So anyways,
I feel like this is like super important, especially for players that juggle multiple gacha games. Which is why I think for myself, I would rather be at, because you only have, like, let's just say you have 100% of your attention, right? I'd rather it be 50% Honkai Starbucks, and I'll split the remaining into whatever it is. Maybe 20 or 30 for Zenless, and the rest into whatever it is. Rather than 10, because that is quite literally the definition of being a tourist, right? I don't think tourist is an insult. It's just you are not as in-depth about the game compared to people that devote their lives into that one game. And this kind of leads to a scenario like other creators that are dedicated to one game ripping into you because you don't spend that much time on that one game. So it kind of become like a moral dilemma for creators that cover multiple games. Do you want to all in one game and be as knowledgeable as possible, but at the expense, you definitely lose more income and more exposure from other games, right? So that's your expense. Or you just cover multiple games, but for each individual game, you're not able to go that in-depth because you need to juggle everything on top of playing them, streaming them, making guides for them, and learning all this kind of stuff, right? So it is quite literally impossible, and you kind of just have to choose. And if you do choose to make guides for multiple games, then I think it's inevitable that you'll probably never be as concise as somebody that prefers one like quote unquote one main class, and then the rest of them are yourself. It's like your main role is a jungler. You wouldn't play Phil every other game, right? Do you want to be a Phil guy or the jungler guy, right? So it kind of depends.
Let's talk about the Saintontas situation. This is relevant to this entire video, I promise. Essentially, yesterday, I think as we're recording this video, or maybe it's the day before, I actually don't remember, I went and talked with Saintontas. Now, this is a creator who is a Wuthering Waves creator who knows a lot about the game. He is very well versed in the game. He understands the characters, the kits, and even though we might...
Bro doesn't even play Tower University, by the way, on 4K. Bro didn't even clear it. I'm just saying.
Have some fundamental disagreements on certain like teams and comps and how they play. That doesn't make him unknowledgeable at all. He knows a lot about the game. But what concerns me is how he presents a lot of his information. I think that it is possible to be correct about things and point out the flaws in other people's like videos and stuff without necessarily creating a toxic environment. But I feel that he has maybe unintentionally created that. And I feel that this actually has the potential, based on what I've seen, to be worse than what happened to the Genshin community. One of the biggest reasons that I stopped making content on Genshin was one, I don't really enjoy the game as much anymore, but the other reason is because I feel that the community got pretty vitriolic at times. And I just didn't...
What the hell is vitriolic? Okay, second of all, okay, I can't, guys. This war music is crazy, all right? Okay, enough is enough. Vitriolic, insane. My English just too dumb for it. All right, it is what it is.
Really want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of the, you have to put down other people to climb the social ladder thing. I don't like doing that. And I feel like in Saint's situation, it has the potential to be even worse because the way that he's arguing for things is very dangerous. So I wanted to go over everything that I've been thinking about in a more organized manner because as I've mentioned before, I'm someone with ADHD and going on the spot live on stream for things to argue just isn't my strong suit, man. I forget what I was about to say like 99% of the time I'm talking. And you know, I can be medicated for that and stuff, but it still takes practice, right? Part of the reason I feel...
Okay, wait. I think at the start, when Saintontas was a level 1 goon, a level 1 Kurobot, at the start, I don't think he was doing this whole Kuro shielding intentionally. I don't think he was intentionally shilling for a specific company. I don't think he was intentionally like overglazing just for the sake of like, oh my god. Because first of all, he doesn't even do it for money, right? He's literally doing it for free out of the passion of his game. So I don't think it was intentional when he was level 1. But after getting the responses from other creators, other streamers, and you know, seeing how it essentially gave him a bigger platform. He was now no longer that Kuro bot guy. He was now that 1v9 guy. And I think somewhere along those lines, it is intentional. Okay, this is just my subjective take. I think somewhere along those lines, it became intentional because he realized that the more he, like, not, I wouldn't say fight, but like debate these other content creators, it would do like a lot of good things for him, right? He will garner a audience that stands behind his viewpoints. He will garner I mean, he's a streamer, right? Like a chat that would support like quote unquote their streamer, because like their streamer is like going up against so many people, right? And he's punching up, and it gives him a lot more exposure because now your name is not just in that one stream or like one channel. You're in almost every bigger streamer's chat and like channel have been talking about him for the past 1 week, right? Tactone, myself, Gotcha Smack, Fob, even Fob, right? I think I don't know who else, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I think somewhere along those lines, it became intentional. But I think that talk with Tactone, like him, Tactone, and Brex, like I didn't even finish watching the whole thing, by the way. I think after that talk, he probably flew a little bit too close to the sun, and he realized he needs to dial it down a little bit. Because if he keeps going, he might really be labeled as the enviosity of Wuthering Waves, which is crazy, right? So I think that talk really kind of made him tone down. And at that point, it's like he has really like gotten what he wanted out of it, right? He already got the attention and the other content creators platform, giving him the exposure. So now he's that guy that, you know, he is no longer that crazy, drastic guy that starts war with everyone. He is now that guy that, oh, you know, it's not that bad, you know, he chilled. He's now a chill guy. He toned down. It is almost like, if I can compare this to somebody, it's like you can say something really, really extreme at the start, and you go like super viral. You go like super viral for saying like this crazy, crazy stuff at the start, and then you start saying more reasonable stuff then people that know you from the viral stuff will be like, oh, actually this guy is, he makes a good point, right? He makes a common sense. He's actually not too bad of a guy. And then this kind of helps him blow. Because this is better than rather you staying in your own lane forever. So that's me and my subjective opinions so far.
Feel like it's so dangerous when Saintontas is arguing is that he uses us and we a lot, and also them. Like us.
Yeah. You
together.
make war and then you tone down, and then you'll be known as the guy that toned down from war, rather than you don't make war at all, and then just your channel doesn't get it. So he went for the up and down, and it will still be higher than if he never went up in the first place in terms of like war or like drama or whatever it is.
Them enemy, right? And that sort of expression sort of makes the masses feel like they're a part of your argument, like they're a part of your movement, that you are with them, that you are the people's person. And that is a sort of manipulation tactic that I don't feel like is super necessary to support his arguments. I think that he actually has a lot of really good feedback and that he says a lot of good things in terms of like the actual criticism that he does give sometimes. I don't think all of the criticism that he gives is like perfect and fine. I think that sometimes he takes it too far, but he obviously knows his stuff and he doesn't need an entire community of people backing him up and being a part of his arguments. It creates a sort of cult mentality. Us or them. We are united together, and leads us down a slippery slope of if this person gives someone criticism, now we're all giving them criticism because we are.
So now I need to refer to my chat as we. We the villagers. It is us or them. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice. We as one village, as one villager, hails Pokke on a daily basis. We are the true savior of the garden.
I feel that it sort of weakens his arguments almost, because what it's doing is it's splitting the community into Saintontas' community versus everyone else. Like he's against the world and he's some kind of heroic figure for it. But I think one of the biggest problems is that his community is a lot of the more vocal Wuthering Waves community. And so if, you're rallying a ton of people and constantly just giving negative feedback to everyone who is not you, what you're going to do is turn everyone in that community against everyone else. Like I said, it's a manipulation tactic. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally or not, but I think Saintontas is a pretty smart dude. I think he's really good at arguing, and I think he knows how to use rhetoric for his advantage. I mean, an example of...
Oh my god. Bro is the mastermind. Wait, let me think. So, if we were to, do something similar, it will gather more people that feel like they are in a bigger movement than themselves. Which is say, like, I think normally in a community, right? You are in a community because you all play the same game. That is what makes the community start, right? So for Honkai Star Rail, for Wuthering Waves, for Zenless Zero, the community is, or rather the thing that ties everybody together, is that we're all playing the same game. But by using this we thing within the same community, it kind of reminds me of like the maybe not cult. I think cult is a little bit crazy. I don't think bro is like starting a cult, but it kind of reminds me of like those like very very lame like high school. I'm not sure if you guys have it like in America or whatever, like high school or like any school, like the cool kids. Like, ooh, you only join this table, right? Ooh, we're here the cool kids, we got the latest drip, the latest wrist, latest whatever, and we are like, everybody want to flock to us. This table is like our table, and everyone else, they are like, nah, they are nothing. I feel like that is probably a more apropos rather than cult. Cult sounds a little bit excessive, but I feel like this getting there. Well, me personally.
All of this is he turned me talking to Smack and Box about my opinions of Saintontas into me being like Atsu, which in my opinion is kind of disgusting, actually, because the difference there with Atsu is that when I met Atsu, I wasn't being toxic to him. He thought I was a little weird, and then he shit-talked me for it. But with Saintontas, when I was giving my opinion on the guy, I wasn't being super behind the scenes and trying to keep it low-key and try to make it like our secret. Like, oh, you can trust me on this, don't trust that guy. Like, it wasn't anything like that, and what I was saying wasn't really untrue. I feel like he does have an ego, and I feel like it needs to be checked, genuinely. He might disagree with that, and I think that's fine. I think all creators have an ego. I think every single content creator has to have an ego, because
I'm a humble as fuck, I'm just keep the bum, and hey, it is what it is. For the village, by the village. Your streamer, absolutely.
You don't have an ego and someone shits on you, then you're going to feel like shit, and content creation probably isn't the best place for you. But I feel like in his case, his ego is getting the best of him a little bit, because being wrong is worse than anything else. He will argue forever, and he's good at arguing, so he will never stop. He will never lose. I think the comparison of me to Atsu is gross, because what Atsu did was unjustified bullying, and it was entirely unprompted. And at the end of the day, he even admitted it himself that he was doing that. And so I don't feel like these are at all the same thing. And I've gotten tons of people calling me names and shit, and it's just, it's weird. The difference is what Saint is doing is that he was essentially bullying someone out of the space and off the game. Vars is my friend, and I don't like when people go after my friends in a way that's beyond constructive criticism. I mean, here's a clip of him literally saying, you might as well not play the game if that's how you're gonna play. Like,
he might as well not play the fucking game if that's how he's gonna fucking play. Bro just reads the fucking kits, but then still doesn't know how to fucking play it.
Like, well, how is that supposed to be constructive? You're basically just saying, stop playing the fucking game. And there's other things too in that VOD, and I don't want to go clip collect for 5 hours, but there's no justifying that. It's not out of context. It's literally just him shitting on my friend. I don't think it matters if the quality of your video is bad. I don't think anyone should be telling people to quit the game because they made a video with an opinion they disagree with. Even if the information in the video is wrong and that's why you disagree with it, I don't think we should just be bullying people off the platform. I think that's silly. Now, if somebody's being toxic about it, I feel like, I mean, okay, I don't endorse bullying, but I would be more understanding if Vars was doing something that was attacking other people and creating a toxic environment, but he wasn't. When I was talking about Saintontas and I said that the guy has an ego, I said it to Smack and I said it to Box, and Smack was someone that he was already arguing with. I didn't change Smack's opinion of him. Smack already felt that way about him. Now, was I being kind of a jerk, shit-talking him? Sure, but I also feel like Saint was being kind of a jerk to my friend. And not only my friend, I mean, I feel like a lot of creators have the same sentiments as me. In fact, after my talk with Saintontas, tons of creators reached out to me and they were like, hey man, I'm on your side. But they don't want to say anything about it because they don't want to deal with the community backlash, because Saints rallied this whole community of people that thinks he can't lose, which in my opinion, the winning and losing thing is really stupid, but I'll talk about that later. Essentially, Saintontas thinks criticism of content is okay, and I actually agree with that. I think that criticizing someone's content is okay if you're not a dick about it. However, when I
Hey, by the way, not me, okay? I didn't DM Brex a single thing. Nope, it's not me, by the way. Whatever you guys think.
Criticize Saintontas' reactions to that content, that's not okay, apparently. And I feel like you can make the argument that what I was doing wasn't criticizing his content, but I think saying that he has an ego based off of a clip that I watched of him reacting to someone's content is. And also, I don't think saying someone has an ego is a dunk or like a drag. It's not like I'm owning them. I feel like it's facts. Like, just like how some of the things that Vars said in his video was factually incorrect, I feel like it's factually correct that Saint has an ego. I have an ego. Tectone has an ego. That's fine. I think that Saint's ego is a little bit out of control in my opinion, but I don't necessarily think that that's like a dunk on him or anything. The reason I say he has an ego is because I feel like he is being judge, jury, and executioner, which is something you can only do if you believe that you are better than someone, that you know more than them, and that you have the right to be the person who takes them down, which is how I feel like a lot of his content has been presented. And he's been gaining notoriety from it. I think that if you're gaining notoriety from putting other people down, that should be questioned. And I also think that if he is knowledgeable about the game, which I do think he is, he should spend that effort putting it into videos that he feels like are more technically correct rather than attacking other people who are technically incorrect. I think you would do a lot.
Okay, that's a good point though. Like, yeah, okay, that's a pretty good point, which is instead of spending that time to tear down others, you can just use that to make your own better guides, you know? Like, instead of laughing at Box 2 for being dog shit at the game, we can't do nothing, we can just do our own little fun challenges. I think that's an excellent example, right? Hey, I love Box 2, by the way. Hey, stop starting war, right? Yeah, they were just
more good for the space if you spent more time uploading videos that had good information and became the guy that everyone went to for that, rather than the guy that everyone's going to because he's shitting on people who are wrong. It's a very negative way of doing it. It's, if the glass is half empty or half full, you can make positive change with the glass being half full rather than it being half empty. There came a point in our discussion where he was talking about the B-roll in Vars's video, and that was a reference to...
It was ridiculous. It was so fucking ridiculous. It was legit the most ridiculous I've ever fucking created.
Specifically the clip that I had mentioned where he said that he should quit the game if that's how he's going to play. The thing is, I don't believe that every video should have perfect B-roll if every video is not showing you a specific thing. Vars's video in his argument it's difficult to show the entire argument in a video as B-roll. You have to show the points of every single bit of argument. So the B-roll just goes behind whatever sort of motion graphics are coming onto the screen. Yeah. And I think a majority of content creators are not paying any attention at all to the B-roll that goes in their videos as long as it's not a guide. Now,
it could literally be Chang Li's tits in my face for like 15 minutes and it wouldn't change a thing. Are we going to tell him to quit the game because he only stared at Chang Li's tits? No, it doesn't fucking matter.
If it's a guide video, I agree. I think the guide video should have B-roll that is representative of how to play the character correctly because it's an educational video. You're trying to teach people how to play a character, so it makes sense that you would want the B-roll.
It could be 15 minutes of Chang-Li walking and we just stare up her ass cheeks, you know? It literally does not matter.
Be, like, correct, right? But that video by Vars is an opinion piece, and he even spoke with me about this a long time ago when he had polled his community multiple times. Every single time, the community had basically just said, yeah, like, we don't even really pay attention to the background of the video. A majority of the time, people just listen. They like put them on in the background while they're doing something, and they just listen to the video. They don't like actively watch what's happening. Nobody's being misled by the gameplay in the video, in my opinion. And if you want to strive for that level of perfection, where every single clip of B-roll is perfect and you make the perfect video, that's great, and you should do that because I think that would make your content at a different level than a lot of other people. But if you ask a majority of content creators, a majority of them are not looking for the perfect B-roll clip at all possible times, especially if the video is not a guide video. This honestly just seems like a difference in opinion, and you can paint it as laziness. You can paint it as somebody's getting paid for something that they're not putting their full effort into, but I don't think it's that unreasonable. If you're working a job and you can get paid hourly to do something and you're just doing your tasks, and as soon as you're done with your tasks, you're kind of done, but you're still getting paid hourly, like you're gonna do that, right? You're gonna find the easiest way to get your job done that's not going to be detrimental to the work. And I don't feel like putting in B-roll that doesn't have perfect gameplay is detrimental to the work, because that's not a part of his argument. There are people that will put in 100% effort all the time, but if
it almost sounds as if like Saintontas was a colleague, is that you want to take a toilet break while you're working. It's like, yo, boss, look at this guy. He went to the toilet for 5 minutes. He wasn't doing his work. Oh, he took 10 minutes longer for his lunch break. Cut his salary. Oh my goodness.
exact
The office rat.
job done without any loopholes and do it 50% faster, why would you not do it 50% faster? And in any other workplace, if somebody walked in and they tried to tell you, actually, you should be taking longer to do this because, or like you're not doing it right because you're not taking long enough, dude, nobody's gonna like that person. Like, I'm just gonna be 100% honest. Like,
Demonstrably
it's kind of a shitty thing to do. Nobody's gonna be happy with that. Nobody likes the person that comes in and tattles on people for doing the job in an easier way, even if it's like not technically correct. As long as the job gets done and there's no rules broken, it doesn't matter. And when I brought that up, the goalpost was moved. It was moved to, okay, well, that discredits his guides because how is he making guides if he doesn't know how to play the game? But do you judge like a NASCAR driver based on how they drive to the grocery store? They come ready to perform when they need to perform. They're not going to always be performing. You can have an opinion on something without being perfect at whatever that thing is all the time. And in some cases, that might make your opinion less reliable, but not all the time. If in his guide, he does the showcases mostly correct or 100% correct would be ideal, I would say he's doing his job. And that's without even mentioning that his editor was the one recording the B-roll for that, and his editor's working 2 full-time jobs. He's doing 80-hour work weeks, and he's a student. This guy doesn't have the time to play and master every single game. He's just trying to make money so he can go to college and then get out of college.
Oh
so
my god! So the B-roll is basically not even from Vars. The B-roll is from his goddamn editor. Oh my lord! The editor is cooked.
Bob plays every single gacha game, and he doesn't make a shit ton of scripted YouTube content. He has so much more free time to do that, and that's also the game he likes to play. People that are making scripted videos that are doing sponsors and focusing on YouTube have significantly less time than Twitch streamers. It's how it goes. So when I'm,
and that's why we're the GOAT. I'm not being ego or whatever, but if we can pump out fucking 3 videos a day every day for the next 5, while being a Twitch streamer, guys, while having scripted videos, while having online unscripted, unedited, bada bing, bada boom, bada bang, 4 editors, hey, and there it is, your streamer. It is what it is.
Asked to go try to beat a boss and see if I could face roll it, and I haven't played Wuthering Waves in Tower since Camelia's video that came out 4 weeks prior, and people treat that as some kind of like dunk on me, as if like, oh, you're not credible, you shouldn't make guides because you
yeah, bro, just quit the game. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just
do this. And I just feel like that's not really like a dunk on any of my arguments. Because like I said, my argument was, hey, man, you're being kind of a dick about this. You should be more constructive with your feedback and not go after everyone.
Okay, he said, hey, Saintontas, you are a dick. And then Saintontas' counter is, hey, Brex, you suck at the game. Kill you. So I definitely see his point of like you're shifting away the main point here. So yeah,
I feel like this goes beyond Vars because it goes to other creators as well. It's Pokke and Smack when they're.
Oh my god, bro, I'm out of this, bro. I'm a risk. I'm a deer. I'm a Lilia. I'm chilling.
Arguing with Saintontas about things. I don't know the whole situation about what's happening with them, but I know that Saintontas is in beef with a lot of creators, and based on how many creators DM'd me after we had our talk, there's so many people, so many of his peers that don't like what he's doing. And I'm worried that he's going to dig himself this hole where he's going to be alone, but he's going to have rallied this entire community of people to be very toxic towards all the creators that don't agree with him, much like what happened in Genshin Impact. And like I said, I don't feel like he made that argument to be constructive criticism, because if he genuinely wanted to do better for the community, he would have tried to have a conversation with Vars about it, as opposed to trying to make him look bad and make Saintontas look like the expert on it. Like, I understand that your viewership will go up if you're involved in.
You know what? I'm gonna just say it. He definitely didn't do it for the community. Nah, ain't no way. There's no way he did it for the community. He did it for himself. You know, I don't think it takes too much of a genius to figure that out. There's no way he do that kind of shit for the community, you know. Because everything that he's been talking about, if it was really for the community, that, oh my god, I believe that guide makers should make better guides. Guide makers should make more detailed guides. This blah blah, all the kind of things. If you really wanted to, you know, do it for the community, you would just let these content creators know, or like, what's lacking. Because at the end of the day, it's not like these content creators are like having millions or like hundreds of thousands of views, you know? Like even that Vars video, it didn't really have a lot of views. If anything, if he has a problem with Vars, he would have probably just DM'd Vars, say, hey, you know what? Blah, 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 your future guides, blah, 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 blah. Because Vars guide videos actually make a lot more views. Same thing for Gaja's Mag, same thing for any of the Wuthering Wave CC. If it was for the community and he wanted the community to have better quality guides, he would have reached out to these content creators and just told them, hey, this is your guide. I don't like this part of the guide. Here's how you fix your guide. And honestly, even if you want to be a dick during the DMs, I think he could be a dick in the DMs, right? And then they could just talk it out. But because he didn't choose that, and it was less so for the community. If anything, it was more so dividing the community. Because now you're basically gathering a group of people that will stand behind your belief, or like the way of your confrontation and the way you carry your arguments, and you'll be that guy. You'll be their guy. You're actually dividing the community of Wuthering Waves, especially the more casual players of Wuthering Waves. They are probably not really that into this kind of like in-depth calculations, perfect rotation, all that kind of stuff. And if anything, it'll make it even more elitist and like even more segregated in the Wuthering Wave community. Because now, those same people, they'll be like, oh shit, your guy sucks ass. Your guy doesn't teach me how to zero cycle. Your guy doesn't teach me how to you know, the Camellia's 4 different forms. So go fuck yourself. Whereas compared to if it was truly for the community, it would be a lot more like all different people of all different calibers of their enjoyment in Wuthering Waves. They would be okay with each other, right? There can be casual Wuthering Wave players, there can be, you know, elite sweaty Wuthering Wave players, there could be main pickers, there could be the gooners, you know, stare at tits all, and like there wouldn't be too much of a war if all these weren't done for like the past couple of weeks. So no, absolutely not. There's no way to do it for a community. Me personally. Goon.
And drama, because then you're getting audiences from everyone around. And I understand that by using we, us, and them, that you're rallying a ton of people behind you to be on your side and feel like they're a part of something bigger. But the problem is that it's a slippery slope into becoming disliked by all your peers and into creating a toxic community. Now, I am a huge creator. The reason that I uploaded this on my second channel is because I don't feel like this is that big of a deal to where I need to put it on my main channel. I don't feel like it's affected me in that crazy of a way. I just want to put out my thoughts on this stuff because I feel like there was a lot that I didn't get to say because, again, I have a disability that prevents me from remembering anything that was just said or what I just said. Basically, the past 30 seconds I can't remember, and then after that I can remember. I'm not really sure why that is. I really would like to find a way to fix that, but it got worse during COVID for me, and it's a little cooked. But what I was saying is that I recognize that I am a creator that has a big platform, and honestly, if this whole thing was about winning, which for some reason the community thinks it's all about winning, you have to win the argument. This guy lost. This guy won. If it was about winning,
he won V9 and won.
Right?
Insane out streamer.
I'm a big creator. And I would have a really big audience of people that people would be like, oh, well, now you're using your audience to harass him, right? That's not what I want. I have a duty as a creator on this platform and as a bigger creator to be careful with what I say about other creators because that encourages other people to go get bullied, which I don't believe in, man. I feel like that's shitty, which is why I apologized at the end of that stream. Not because I felt like my arguments were wrong, but just because I feel like it's the right thing to do. Even if I don't feel that saying someone has an ego is dunking on someone, like, he can still hurt their feelings, so I apologize. I don't feel like that's like an L or anything. It's not about winning or losing. I don't want anyone to win or lose, and everyone that's making it out about winning or losing, I just feel like has completely lost the plot. But if people want...
Nah, it's all about winning or losing, bro. You don't play a game of League just to draw. You don't play a game of League just to hit level 18 and just, you know what, I got 10 kills, right? It is about destroying the enemy nexus, getting that sweet, sweet LP, and actually tasting the taste of victory.
With going beyond criticism against one of my friends. I feel like it's not that unusual to see your friend getting dunked on in a way that's beyond constructive criticism. That's literally telling them to quit content, discouraging them from uploading again. Like that's too far for me. And I feel like I need to say something about it. So hopefully I can use my platform for good, and hopefully Saintontas will also do the same thing. As I was recording this video, I literally just got another comment about having lost, which is so insane to me. Listen, if I can lose and that makes the community more holistic and understanding of each other and less toxic, then I'll gladly lose. And I've seen patterns like this before, and I've seen how they turned out, and I just really don't want this to happen again, because that shit is unfun for everybody. Anyways, that's it. Have a good one, guys.
Yippee! Alright, interesting video. Moral of the story, you know? Subscribe to the Clip channel, because it's now a VOD channel. Alright, peace. You have cooled your last cool, my man.